Hello students, today in this video we will talk about rationality and in detail we will discuss about the relationship of religion with politics and state. One thing is very clear from the term rationality that here the element of rationale is here, and rationale deals with the explanation in a logical context. Anything can be said anywhere we can hear, but everything is not rational, and unless the thing gets proved on a rational background, on a logical background, it is not at all accepted by a rational person. Similarly, when we talk about religion, then this is the thing which is definitely influencing the mind of a common man, that it is having relationship with the eternal power. But again, though religion is beyond scientific experiments, but again the acceptance is done by a person on the basis of a logic. And similarly in the context of politics, thus the relationships of religion and political system and state in the context of rationality is tried to explain in this video. Let us talk about rationality. Rationality refers to those ideas and behaviors which are logically coherent and consistent and amenable to empirical knowledge. Rationalization refers to the process whereby rationality is applied to various aspects and activities of life. Therefore, a person whenever perform any activity, whether accept any thought process, any belief system, that is all done on the basis of his rationale. According to Weber, the contemporary world is characterized by rationality. Max Weber believed that the key to understand modern society is to be found in its rational features and rationalizing forces. For him, the modern Western world is characterized by rationality. As a result of this, human activity is marked by methodical calculation, quantification, predictability and regularity became important. And this is the reason that a person in this scientific world give more importance to experimentation, and that experimentation results on the basis of rationality. Therefore, quantification holds a significant position in the study. Individuals rely more on logic, reason and calculation than on supernatural beliefs. To Weber, means according to Weber, rationalization is the product of scientific specialization and technological differentiation. As a person and as a society get more involved in the scientific explanation or scientific specialization, the input on the basis of rationality gets increases in the day-to-day life of a person also. The latest example which we can share here is the Chandrayaan concept which is going on in the society. Though moon has its significance in the mythological world also, but in the context of the scientific study, this mission gives explanation because of its scientific specialization and technological differentiation. Therefore, this mission is now a part of a scientific study. Weber describes that rationalization as a striving for perfection force and as refinement of the conduct of life and the attainment of mastery over the external world. Demystification of beliefs and secularization of thoughts are important facets of rationalization that assist in attaining mastery over the world. Rationalization involves the formalization of laws and organizations. Generally, it is said that a person do not believe on the supernatural things is commonly said to have a different mindset, but that is not actually a different mindset. To have a blind faith is not accepted in the scientific explanation. Everything requires to be very clear on the basis of experimentation, and that experimentation, when done with logical experiments, results in the development of the rationality of a person. Weber views rationality as a process of rationalization of social system. This takes place through the emergence of rational organization and institution in human society. He also finds the reflection of the process of rationalization in human values, beliefs, thoughts and actions. Here he locates the emergence of elements of rationality in social sciences as well. This is important to underline that when we talk particularly about the scientific aspects, it cannot be done without experimentation, but specifically when we deal and when we talk about this social science aspect, then here again the role and the importance of rationalization is existing. The rationalization characteristic of modern societies is manifested in terms of rational actions, that is actions in relation to goals. Hence, the sphere of rationalization is expanded to economic, political, religious organization, etc. Means every work which is associated to any aspect of life is having its rational implications. Weber makes extensive use of the concept of rationality in his study of social actions, organizations and processes. Thus, rationality appears in Weber's work in two broadly distinct but interrelated ways. Now, if we talk about religion, then it is a powerful force of group identity also. These groups are integral part of political process. Sociologists treat religion as one institution in a complex web of institutions that form a society. Thus, religion can be said as stable and shared set of beliefs, symbols and rituals that focus on the sacred. Rather than only highlighting the relationship with the supernatural or the eternal power, it can also be said as that religion deals with sacredness, and that sacredness is having association with the shared and stable set of beliefs, which is also expressed in the form of symbols. Thus, religion is a set of beliefs and practices shared by a community of people which deal with the ultimate questions of life and death. Religion invariably involves a belief in a supernatural force which is set apart from daily life, but it is important to note that religion is not just restricted to the supernatural realm. There is social significance of religion also. In this way, that socially it is having its implications for individual also, and individual in return is associated to society or a community. It lays down and provide norms, ethics and code of behavior. Thus, religion provides moral and ethical vision and guides people and communities. When we talk about politics, then politics again is also a major social institution which involve the organization of power in society. Political system attempts to give impression that their power is legitimate rather than coercive, and because of the legitimacy, this is known as authority also, and therefore, political authority in contemporary society gets its authority or validation from the wider section of people. Therefore, people's interest and demand affect the political authority, and religion is one aspect of community life which affects politics. Thus, there is a correlation again between religion and politics and state. It will be useful in the present context to refer to two aspects of the understanding of the term politics. One such definition refers to that two opposing forces of conflict and integration that determine the nature of politics. Means in a society one cannot deny the existence of conflict. At the same time, there is existence of integration, and the very common example which we can give in this context, that India is having one important feature of unity in diversity. The existence of diversity in Indian society can be very well seen in the religious sphere, in the lingual sphere, in the social sphere, cultural sphere, economic sphere. But whatsoever be the sphere, the difference is existing still when we come or when we conclude in the context of Indianhood, then there is the existence of unity, and this is expressed in this way in the definition that conflicts and integration both holds and determine the nature of politics in society. As diverse social and cultural processes help in achieving the objective of a harmonious society, political process has an important role to play in it. Integration and conflict thus are two apparently opposite forces that constitute the process of politics, because in politics there is the existence of innumerable people, innumerable mindsets are there, and they are working for the sake of the betterment of the society in a integrated way. Thus, the existence of conflicts is also there, but when it comes to the integration aspect, then the presence of politics is only way out to make these different minds all together. Social institutions are important from the point of view of both conflict and integration, and they are linked with politics and political processes. These institutions, means political institutions, ideas and issues which are associated with them often forms the basis for an identity of individual and leads them to conflicting situation. At the same time, social institutions bring about unity and integration with these institutions as well as between them. Therefore, these both are contradictory to one another. Managing the conflicts which arises out of competing situation, where each individual has different interests and identities, bring about the much required integration or unity, and that constitutes politics. The another aspect of understanding of politics is the distributive approach, because not all communities and individuals have equal access to resources, goods and distribution of positions. Some are deprived of these powers and access to goods and resources. This is very clearly explained by Karl Marx in his book, and in his study, major work which is done by him is the study of class conflicts, class struggle. A group or a community may feel that is deprived of access to resources and positions in society. This puts them at a disadvantage and makes them feel powerless. This group then may challenge legitimacy of the state or political regime which is vested with authority. This sense of relative deprivation has been one of the important factor for group mobilization as well as for the political violence. Thus, there are three perspectives on politics and political processes. First is the conflict and integrative approach, which talks about that there is always the existence of conflicts in the society, but with the help of the political system or political processes, the process of integration is done for the welfare of the state or society. Second talks about the distributive approach, which talks that there is always the society is distributed, one who is having their control or having authority over the resources, and another which is deprived of that. Because of this distributive approach of politics, the things becomes easier to those who are deprived from many resources. And third talks about the behavioral approach, which takes about the way how to deal in a social system with specific political role in the state. Now, there are certain factors which affect the relationship between religion and politics. We will discuss about them one by one. The first is heterogeneity and homogeneity. A society is normally pluralist in the sense that there are various kinds and levels of divisions existing in the society that can be religious, economic, ethnic and so on. But these divisions are more pronounced in certain societies than in others, as we are very much familiar that certain news are always coming ahead from certain societies, and whether every society is having the existence of conflict, but certain societies never raises their voice to that extent that it becomes more hearable. It is in terms of these divisions that societies are described as homogeneous and heterogeneous. Divisions are sharper in heterogeneous society. In homogeneous societies, the influence or the impact of religion on politics is less pronounced, while in heterogeneous society much impact is more perceptible. This is the reason that those societies which are much more homogeneous in the context, they reflect the impact of religion on politics. When we talk about the relationship between the religion and other divisions in society, that again form a core content. The second important factor is its relationship between religion and politics is the extent to which the religious group coincide with other divisions in society. For example, class, ethnicity, immigrants and so on. Empirical studies have suggested such relationships and associations among various divisions, and a number of studies conducted in different parts of various world. Some religious minorities raise their voices, come ahead, and some get in associated with mainstream of the society. Thus, ethnicity and migration relate to religion and class in a complex way. Nature of religion and its attitude towards politics also marks an impression. Max Weber's classic work, The Protestant Ethics and the Spirit of Capitalism, relates the nature of religion with secular forces of industrialization. There are certain religions that believe in the subordination of all such processes to religion and find it difficult to separate politics from religion. And the fourth factor that is both important and complex is the historical process opening at two levels. First, the emergence of religion through various stages has followed in different paths, and second is the historical process of the relationship between the religion and other social groups and processes, especially the political authority has influenced the actual place of religion in the society. It would be incomplete if we do not talk about the concept of society. So, Max Weber defined state as an important concept in society and defined state as a human community which successfully claims the monopoly of the legitimate use of physical force within a given territory. Thus, the state is one of the important agencies of social control whose functions are carried out through the enforcement of laws which are invariably backed by the use of force. Comte and Herbert Spencer regarded the emergence of state as a consequence of the increasing size and complexities in the societies. there seems to be some validity of their observation, and this is the reason that the concept of state holding its importance in society from very ancient time. The head of the community earlier was both a religious as well as a political head, and with the increasing complexity of society, a need was felt to separate the religious and the non-religious domain so as to democratize the domain of authority. Therefore, it is important to talk and discuss about the secularization process, that because of secularization, the decline in the political and social importance of any single religion in society is considered, and this is known as secularization. Secularization is commonly associated with modern technologically advanced society. The word is derived from the Latin word seculum, which means the present stage. The word secularization in its very and general usage came to convey a dominant social process, that is a view of our understanding of the world, which is a shift from a religious understanding of the world to the present phenomena going in the society. Therefore, whenever we talk about the secularization, then there is a hidden thing saying within that the religion or the importance of religion is not that much, which is strictly forcing people to follow, but it is implied in the working of the state and society. So, the process of secularization is holding a very significant position in society. The process of modernization was accompanied by many other developments. Differentiation was one such process, which mean that social institution had exclusive functions and different functions form their own institution for effective performances. Therefore, the process of secularization gradually become the part of the day-to-day phenomena of life, and gradually when we talk about traditional society, changes can be seen in the modern or the present society, because while a traditional society is characterized by different functions being performed by the same institution, in a modern society different functions tend to be performed by the institution that are meant to perform specific function, and this process resulted in a distinction between the sacred and secular realms of social life. As pointed out earlier, the process of modernization includes many other processes, and differentiation is a part of that, which in a way resulted in a more secularization of the political processes. Earlier, which was only considered in the periphery of religion, now become a part of the political aspect also. It was accepted at least at the level of an ideal that politics and religion should keep away from influencing each other. While this has been the ideal of politics in modern societies, the very process of modern day politics has made such isolation a near impossibility. Therefore, it is important to talk about the nature of politics. Society and polity have always an interactive relationship, but politics in the democratic framework had made such relationship mutually dependent to a greater extent. When we talk about democracy at the present scenario, it is not just another form of government, it is a system of politics and government that is accepted and adopted by almost all the countries of the world. So, society does not include individuals who are isolated from one another. Individuals are invariably members of a social group at large, and not only of a single group, but of several such groups simultaneously. And every society is divided into groups in terms of prevailing values, and the number of such groups depend on the number of the people. Caste, class, religion, ethnicity, common profession, and finally power. All these may and do form the basis of the formation of groups. Individual may be members of more than one group simultaneously. The importance of such groups for democratic politics is that the groups often constitute the organizing blocks of the political process. Therefore, the legitimacy of the politics, which commonly seen in the form of authority, get acceptance in the society. Thus, it is the rational behavior of a person, or this is the rationality which holding its significance in establishing the relationship between the religion and politics. And here it is very important to conclude that religion, which is holding an important position in the social life of a person, marks an impression in the current scenario political aspect of a person. Now, how their connection is working is again a matter of study. A deep analysis investigation is required in this context because of the process of secularization, because of the process of modernization which is working in the society in this age of post globalization. The role and the significance of religion in the society cannot be diminished, but at the same time the significance of politics without having the interference of religion in that deep way is essential to be underlined. Therefore, it is important to have a understanding about the religion and the same time to have a relationship between religion and economy, and having the impetus of rationality in it is holding a significant position. This particularly video talks about the rationality in the context of its relationship between religion and power, religion and politics. And whenever we discuss about both of them and trying to have a relationship between both of them, it is important to have a demarcating line, and this demarcation can be done only because of rationality. Wherever there is the existence of rationality, blind faith does not take place, and blind followers, rather than just following the things, raises questions, ask about the things, and whenever they ask about the things, the democratic system works to give answer to them, and this answerable situation in the political realm gives the birth to the democratic way out to find out the solutions of the problems. And thus, because of the presence of rationality, a stable relationship, or sometimes even conflicting also, but the relationship is on the rational background. So, whatsoever by the phenomena, if the core content is rational, then definitely it gives a proper way out to the problems of the society, problem of the political system, and indirectly prove helpful in the proper functioning of a society. Thus, rather than giving pressure or impression over one another, it is far better with the use of rationale, that rationality in the form of religion, rationality in the form of political process marks an impression on an individual to work in their way out of life with the proper use and proper interrelationship of state and politics and religion in the day to day life of individual. The sociology of religion talks in detail about rationality in the context of religion, in the context of society. So, students, now it is the time to summarize about this video, and for this sake it is important to give a quick review what we have discussed in this video. So, we started with the process of rationality and the process of rationalization, which is important significant characteristic of the contemporary society, and also then we discussed about the social significance of religion along with the meaning and perspective of politics and political processes. Three perspectives were clearly explained in this video about the political processes. First, deal with the conflict and integrative approach. second deals with the distributive approach, and third we talk about the behavioral approach. In this video also we discussed that phenomena which is influencing social life in a very great manner, and that is the phenomena of secularization, where the element of rationality is involved in the religious aspect. So, that is again we have discussed in this video, and in this video we have discussed about also about those factors which affect the relationship between the religion and politics. We talked in detail about homogeneity and heterogeneity. We also discussed of the relationship between religion and other divisions of society like class, ethnicity. We have discussed in detail about the nature of religion and its attitudes toward politics, and also about the historical processes. Thus, the concept and the nature of politics hold its significance in the social phenomena with the process of rationality is clearly explained and discussed in this video. The significance of rationality not only in this particular aspect holds its significance, but also in the every dimension and realm of life. The significance of rationality as discussed by Max Weber is the significant contribution of the present day society.